Hello everyone, my name is Joey Lopez, and today I'm going to be talking about transgender individuals and their sexual satisfaction, their quality of life, as well as their psychological well-being before and after gender confirmation treatments. Now, there wasn't too many resources that I could find about this kind of phenomenon, specifically looking at sexual satisfaction before and after any sort of gender confirming treatment. By gender confirming treatment, I mean the um, gender that an individual identifies as, not necessarily their biological gender. There are two types of gender confirming treatments that are out there right now. One would be physical treatments like sexual transitions, gonadal transitions, as well as physical feature treatments such as the feminization of facial features, the masculinization of facial features, um, and so on. The other type of treatment that is out there has to do with hormonal treatments, whether that be testosterone treatments, estrogen treatments, and so on. And so a lot of the studies that I found pointed to the fact that there are not enough studies being done. In their discussion sections, they said that the biggest problem with most of the studies that were currently out there were the lack of studies themselves. Most of the studies that I looked at had to put in a section where they went over the fact that their power was very low for their research, meaning that they didn't have enough participants in any of the research that they found. And in fact, they had to do a lot of systematic reviews spanning hundreds of different summarizations. So that's kind of the biggest contingency right now. One of the biggest correlations that they found was that there was an overall quality of life improvement after a um, gender conformational treatment. Now, they found that the pre-treatment quality of life in general was lower than the general population quality of life. And then after the treatments, the physical alterations, their quality of life went up but still fell below the general population quality of life. They also found that male to female transitional procedures had a higher quality of life than female to male, as well as showed a higher increase in quality of life in sexual relationships, friendships, as well as workplace relationships. Um, One reason that they gave for this correlation comes from body satisfaction, body image satisfaction specifically. So they found that if some individuals had a higher body satisfaction, that their quality of life in all of these categories would increase. They also found a correlation with body satisfaction pre-treatments and post-treatments, and found that people who had body satisfaction that was lower pre-treatments tended to have lower quality of life improvements after the treatments as well. Another big find that I saw had to do with sexual satisfaction, which leads into quality of life. They found that the sexual satisfaction increased significantly after the gender confirmation treatments were completed. So they found that male to female tended to have a higher sexual satisfaction rate after these treatments than female to male. They also found that sexual behaviors increased, such as um, having intercourse more frequently and having intercourse more in the last 6 month period than female to male. Um, I also found in another research document, they covered um, craniological surgeries, specifically feminization of facial structures for male to female, and found that people who underwent the facial reconstruction specifically had an exponential increase in sexual satisfaction post treatment as well as quality of life post treatment. They also found that there was a increase in body satisfaction after the craniological surgery. Um, I do think that there needs to be a lot more research done in this field. They said that for the majority of these research articles, that their um, participant level was just too low or too specific. For instance, a lot of these um, research articles said that their sample was majority a convenience sample, and a lot of them tended to be Caucasian or white, non-Hispanic, and so there is an underrepresentation of ethnic diversity as well as an underrepresentation of a bigger sample size in general. I think there was only one research article that specifically took a psychological assessment before and after the um, gender confirmation treatments. Every other research paper that I found only did surveys after. So that was another big problem with a lot of these research papers, was the fact that there weren't too many surveys or information being had before these treatments, but mostly after. Another big problem with research, and a suggestion that I would make, is that there's more research done in a longitudinal fashion, as in setting up surveys and research papers that follow people throughout their lives post um, gender confirmation treatments. I think if we could set that up, then we could find better and stronger correlations for quality of life and sexual satisfaction. Overall, the studies found an increase across the board in quality of life and sexual satisfaction after a gender confirmation treatment, whether that was a physical treatment, such as gonadal surgery, or a chemical treatment such as testosterone or estrogen. All of these treatments saw a increase in quality of life and sexual satisfaction after the treatments were had. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a good break.